My son uses his bed as toy storage, then sleeps on the floor instead. Wish my boy a happy birthday. He's in the middle of showing her a watch this. Kids don't care. They'll be like, why are you so ugly? Then run away and do a cartwheel. My brother couldn't find any toilet paper, so he took this kitchen roll and cut it in half. Sand dollars. It's alive. Confession. I took a bite out of my sand dollar when I was little. Now I just realized what I did. My cousin got engaged, and I just can't stop thinking about the real star. Spaghetti girl. Kids who completely suck at hide and seek. Where in the dad manual did it mention how to stop a 3-year-old from taking bites out of drywall? My 4-year-old daughter took a bite out of all the muffins to determine his favorite. The verdict: banana nut. They were all banana nut. Flashback to that time when I ate Play-Doh and the cameraman decided to take a picture. My 12-year-old son got annoyed at a video game. Do not get him a new phone. He has decided that, because his boots are camo, he shouldn't have put them in his closet because you can't see them. Toddler sees anything on the floor. The toddler. Delicious. Finally some good food. I love drugs and I'm only 10. You are so young, that's against the law. Why do you do that? I am a savage. I think he replied to himself in all of this. I won't let him eat the bathroom garbage. My 7-year-old just woke me up at 1 in the morning and asked me if water is window juice. This 7-year-old. I don't need sleep, I need answers. I am Superman. My niece drew this troll and then got so scared of it, she made my brother throw the picture away. She found out I have a name other than Mum. The dog was in the way while he was trying to push the chair. I'm glad we own 10,000 stuffed animals, so my toddler can fall asleep cuddling with a jar of peanuts. Just told my nephews, see you later, alligator. And this guy says, after a while, black and mild, having a normal kid. Having a stupid kid who runs into doorknobs. My mother sneezed into her elbow while muted during Zoom school, and her students thought she was dabbing and cheered. That time I figured out how to take the lid off the vent and proceeded to get stuck in it. When I was 3, I fell asleep in a dog bed. This isn't really stupid. This is cute. Real life Jerry spotted. Can't believe Earth is 22 years old. So crazy. No, lol. Yes, obviously that's how it works. No, that's not how it works. Wouldn't buy her women razors. My 3-year-old, who doesn't notice her pants are inside out or that her shoes are on the wrong feet, can spot a diced onion in her food from 3 feet away. People, why do you never get sick? Me when I was a kid. Things that made my toddler cry this week. Only wants to go up on the seesaw, not down. I wouldn't serve her hot ice cream. Her shadow is copying her. Doesn't want to have bones anymore. How about your kid? Admin. Password hint. It's admin1 with an I instead of a 1. Our puppy used him for a pillow. When I want to play video games and the kids complain about it, I let them play too. I wonder when they'll catch on. I wouldn't buy her the Dolly movie for Christmas. I'd be much happier with watching the Dolly movie than Chucky. My 4-year-old brother just asked us to play the song Soft Rubber. He meant Smooth Criminal. 6-year-old. I need to fart. Me. No, we're eating. Okay, I'll just hold it in with my hand. It didn't work. One time when I was snowboarding with my dad, one of the big trail map signs had a "You are here" sticker. So I asked how they knew where we were, and I think that's when he knew I was going to be an idiot. I was so busy in the kitchen, I didn't know what to do first. My little brother asked me what he can do to help. I told him to get that bag of potato, peel half of them, and boil. My little brother is a true genius. As a kid, I had to take quiet in school, but I hated it. So I would just mouth the word watermelon over and over so it looked like I was singing. This time on Why is the Toddler Crying? Child asked where milk was. Parent said it was on the table. Child runs away crying. Parent left confused. Parents have read it. How will Santa Claus deliver the Christmas presents this year? Considering if he goes to every home, he could spread the virus to the entire world in one night. My kid doesn't believe in Santa. Never has. He does, however, believe in Grandma, and for some maddening reason, believes all of his gifts come from her. Or because I said she looked pretty. 3-year-old, face covered in frosting. Me, were you eating cake? No, I just kissed it. I was lifeguarding, and a little boy threw his ball out of the water, and his mum goes, maybe if you ask the pretty lifeguard, she will grab the ball for you. This kid looked at me dead in the eyes and goes, where's the pretty one? Kids are ruthless. My son is learning to shower. 6-year-old, how much shower do I use? Me, the size of a pea. Here's pump after pump being shot out of the jug. How much did you use? Sounds like a lot. Have you ever seen how much I pee in the morning? Shampoo everywhere. If you ever feel embarrassed, just remember that in middle school, I tried to convince myself that I wasn't gay by making a compromise to myself to only be gay at night. The gay night rises. My 4-year-old son's search history. Diarrhea sounds. Why is he so interested in what diarrhea sounds like? I mean, he's a kid. Redditors with toddlers. What's the most recent illogical breakdown they've had? He loved being tickled, so I was tickling him one day. He let out a huge fart and suddenly started crying and screaming. I asked him why he's screaming, and he replies with, "I was saving that for later." How and why would you save a fart? Woman in my train carriage smoothly telling the conductor that her son is traveling for free because he's only 4, while the kid repeatedly yells, "But I'm not 4. 6-year-old. If you have 5 fishes and 1 fish swims away, how many fishes do you have left? Toddler. Pink. You're not going to survive 1 day of school. I wish you'd go to bed. Make a better wish. I'd wish you'd go to bed fast. This is why grown-ups don't get wishes. When I'm a parent, I'm going to give my child the day of the full moon off from school every month to see how long it takes the administration to notice. Reason 325, why Tumblr users should never be parents. My son just asked me if I have any kids, so I said, "Yes, I carried you. You're my kid." And he goes, "Oh, I was thinking you never had any kids. Like, you thought I was just taking care of you for fun? You thought you were besties." This reminds me of the kid who asked his mum how she knew their name. I told him he had to stop biting the cat. Me, opening my hands playing peekaboo. Toddler. Where the hell have you been? Today, my army friend was telling us about basic training, and a drill sergeant was there, and this kid in her battalion who asked so many stupid questions that the drill sergeant made him carry around a potted plant all day to replace the oxygen he wasted. I feel bad for teachers, because I distinctly remember my mum bursting into tears once when she was grading papers and she was mumbling, "They're so goddamn stupid," over and over. I told them if you draw a chalk circle around an ant, they can't leap the circle. So they drew a chalk circle around their Aunt Mary. 6-year-old son. Dad, I found something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, because you'll tell me to stay away from it. Don't worry though, I'll be fine. Okay then, sounds good. Update, it's some kind of animal's egg. He's right, I did tell him to stay away from it. Update, I went to take a look and it turns out it's just a rock. My son insists it's either a snake egg or a dragon egg, but no, it's definitely a rock. He does not have to stay away from it, it turns out. His goldfish didn't have eyes like the ones on the package. Was at Michael's and this girl was staring longingly at the stuffed animals and says, "I wish I was still a kid." And her dad next to her goes, "You're 10. My 3-year-old asked what my favorite animal is, and when I said penguin, she yelled, "No it isn't." And then she yelled at me until I agreed that my favorite animal was a bat, and I don't like bats or 3-year-olds. That reminds me of the time I was eating a banana in the airport, and this cute toddler came over to me. I was polite, but then he put out his hand and said, "Banana." See a minion? So I started looking around for his mum. She looks up and says, "It's okay, he can have some." Ma'am, no he cannot. Yeah, because that airport banana probably costed $20. In like 5th grade, my whole family was driving home from some trip, and I was listening to Kids with Guns by the Gorillaz on my iPod, and it made me feel really rebellious because I was a kid, and according to that song, kids have guns. So when we drove into the garage and my dad was like, "Okay, we're home," I said, "Shut up, Dad." And he just looked at me for a long time and didn't say anything, and I started crying. My 4-year-old son was brushing his teeth last night. I noticed he had drawn on the wall in the other room. I called his name and he yelled back, "I didn't draw on the wall." All I did was say his name. Kids are terrible liars. Told my 6-year-old his shoes were on the wrong feet. After a very long pause, he said, "I don't have any other feet." My kids had to double a brownie recipe that called for 1/3 cup of oil. Somehow her math yielded out 2 2/3 cups. The mix was boiling in the oven. Happiness is a choice. Yep, you see, just because you come first place doesn't mean you'll be happy, as long as you make yourself proud and you tried your best. Thanks, Nickelodeon slime. My 7-year-old put on a suit for his class Zoom this morning. My wife told me I needed to go and see it, so I popped my head in to grab a picture. He was concerned I was going to interrupt him and flashed me the "I'm on a cool hand" signal. It took everything I have not to burst out laughing. The classic joke is when it's their birthday and you ask them if they're like 20 years old. They're like, "No, I'm 4. No, I do remember people at school saying, "I'm 8 3/4 or 1/2. Like, bruh, you're just 8, dog. My toddler just saw newborn pictures of himself with his clamped umbilical cord and is now convinced he had a second pee-pee that we chopped off. My 3-year-old was having yogurt for breakfast. He decided to pretend it was ice cream, then got mad at me because it really wasn't ice cream. There aren't enough condom ads in the world. I remember when I was 6, I got a hold of my dad's ID and it had an expiration date. Spent 3 hours crying because I thought he was set to die on that date. He asked me why I was crying, and I didn't tell him because I was scared he was going to cry as well. My toddler dropped my phone while she was FaceTiming my mum. gasped, picked it back up, and asked, "Grandma, are you okay?" It was the cutest, dumbest thing I've ever seen. Podiatrician at 4-year checkup. "Do you have any questions?" Me, "I don't think so." "Eddie, what about you? Any questions for me?" "Yeah, have you ever hanged upside down from the ceiling like a bat? You think you explain the lesson really well, and then this happens. Color and name. Lexi, Liam." Earlier my daughter asked me if grown-ups ever cry. I sat down with her, hugged her, and explained that grown-ups do cry, and that we feel scared, sad, angry, and everything she feels. And it's fine to feel those things. She then asked me if grown-ups pee. 4-year-old daughter is crying her eyes out. Me, "What's wrong, Tutu?" 4-year-old, moving her hands on the sofa. "If my fingers were markers, they would ruin the sofa. But your fingers are not markers." 4-year-old, peak distress. I said if. 5-year-old, "I wish we all had infinity dollars. I'd wreck the economy. I'd just go to your room until you understand inflation. Space is so big. Space is about 50 suns." He wants to get on the bus. The bus is on the TV. No bobs allowed. No girls allayed. Have a good war. Actual letter from a kid. My mum found an assignment I did in 3rd or 4th grade where I had to describe my role model. I chose my mum and then said she is my role model because she does stuff for me. And the photo I chose was one of her chugging a margarita. Oh good. My son put my wireless headphones in a plastic container of water to keep them safe. Good. Great, fine, how wonderful. Today, one of my 3-year-old students told me that his dad died. I teared up on the spot and gave him plenty of extra love/attention. My heart absolutely ached at the thought of him experiencing such a profound loss. Guess who strolled in with a Happy Meal at pickup time? Kids be lying for no reason. Me, who got pee on the floor? 5-year-old. Wait, did you say the floor or the wall? Floor. Oh, not me then. One time, my doctor had to leave the patient's room to go pee in a cup, and I was like 8, so I came back double filling 2 cups that were completely full to the brim. What the hell was I thinking? That was way too much piss. All he wanted was a sample. I am still haunted by this today. Silence is gold, but when you have kids, silence is suspicious. Me, working. 7-year-old. Dad, is it Thursday or October 22nd? It's both. No, but is it Thursday, October 22nd? Yes, thank you. I asked my 9-year-old nephew what he wanted as a congratulatory gift for passing the state test in 3rd grade. Positive reinforcement, you know. His response, a $100 gift card for Fortnite and a Balenciaga shirt. It only costs $400. I enjoy playing with Play-Doh, dinosaurs, tire swing, bubbles. I am working really hard on not licking the swing set outside. My dad, kids these days speak so fast and mumble, I can't understand anything. Random kid, who can start hungry from that? See, I can't understand anything. Dad, that wasn't English. When your son comes home with this that he made in a holiday club, apparently it's a hedgehog. My 3-year-old, candy is not for adults, it's for kids. Can I have one? Sure. I thought candy wasn't for adults. Why? Random guy, honks at me for taking too long to pull out of my parking space. Move your car, lady. My 4-year-old, rolls down her window. Hey, you can't tell my mum what to do. You're not her kid. OMG, we played Floor is Lava, and it was all good until Rowan freaked out and started crying that the floor was going to burn him. He spent all morning randomly dumping water on the floor to fight fires, so it makes a lot of sense. Lies parents tell their children. My dad told me that oil spots on the street were little kids that got run over because they didn't hold anyone's hand while crossing the street. A game show called Why, where contestants have to answer as many questions as possible from a 4-year-old. The last one to have a nervous breakdown wins. My sister was asking for my mum's phone, and I said, if you wanted a phone, maybe you shouldn't have broken yours. And my sister responded angrily. I didn't break it, I dropped it and it wasn't working. 2 years ago. You think you have it rough? Try being quarantined with the principal. Get you someone who looks at you the way my brother looks at potatoes. I got distracted for 5 seconds when I heard my son saying, "Look dad, I'm the lawyer from Jurassic Park." Waiting for my sister to get off the bus, I blew all the elementary school kids' minds, and from that day on, they believed in Peter Parker. Lying to children is fun when they know you are being ridiculous. When you hold up a carrot, like, guys, look at this huge Cheeto, and they all scream, no, that's a carrot. What? No, it's my giant Cheeto. No! I ask my toddler what's in the box she's holding. Chaos, she replies. Chaos, chaos. I know she's trying to say crayons, but it's not like she's wrong. Me. What do you want to be for Halloween this year? 3-year-old. Asleep? Can't say she's not mine. Me. Butchering a raw pork shoulder. Child. Can I poke it? What? Can I poke it? Poke the pork? Yes. Why? It looks squishy. It is squishy. Child. Me. 5 minutes later. Why are you two poking the pork? Daughter didn't want sunscreen, so I put her outside and yelled, "Son, get her!" and now she's flipping out. My 5-year-old son just asked, what if we put a slice of turkey in the DVD player and it played a movie about the turkey's whole life? And none of the parenting books I've read have prepared me for this question. 7-year-old silently sneaks up behind me and taps me on the shoulder. Yes, whispers in my ear. Do not trust Siri, she doesn't have eyes. Who needs scary movies when you can just have kids? Yeah, no, that's fair. Kids are our future. Not your kids, better ones. The kids I nanny asked why I wanted to see Incredibles 2, and I said because the first one came out when I was a kid, and they really asked if it was in color. I bought my son a book about bats, and halfway through it, he shouted, "What? Bats are real?" All this time he thought they were made up for Halloween, like ghosts and witches. Today, my son drew in red marker all over his face, then got scared we'd be mad, so he tried to hide it by wrapping toilet paper around his head like a mummy. Then he promptly ran into a wall and nearly knocked himself unconscious. Use a crayon to color each vertex of your polygon. How many verticals did you color? 6. What is the name of your polygon? Hot dog. This morning, my son said his ears hurt, and I said on the inside or outside. So he walks out the front door, comes back in and says both. Moments like this got me wondering if I'm saving too much for college. When I was 8 years old, my mum found me eating grass from the front yard. When she asked why, I said, because then I can pee milk like a cow. What drugs did you do in the 90s? Trying to think what's the weirdest thing I ate or tried eating. I didn't really try and eat a lot of weird stuff. I was a very picky eater, so this never really happened. Just saw a kid in PetSmart with his hands and face pressed against an adoptable cat's glass cage, telling the cat they need to form a plan, because his mum said no, and whispering his full home address to the cat. I think the kids will be alright. Shark baby. I'm laughing so hard. Look at this kid. It's the happiest guy on earth. Child. Tests if an object will break. Object. Breaks. Child. When you finally meet the person that's been feeding you pickles and flaming hot Cheetos for 9 months. Kids these days have tablets and hoverboards. Well, I spent my childhood trying to figure out where the juice went. I was walking in the park and a little kid came barreling down the path on a bike, with his 10-year-old brother screaming, "Don't crash into the old lady! Watch out for the old lady!" I was 29. What does it cost to raise a child? Stupid kid. 310k. Gorgeous Patek. Yesterday in the park, I saw a toddler screaming, "Bad dog," at a goose, and I can't stop thinking about it. My toddler just said, "I have a headache in my knees," and I could not relate more. Simple facts. I'm terrified of my toddler discovering public parks don't randomly close. TVs don't run out of batteries. There is no actual world record for fastest at putting toys away. Chicken the animal and chicken the food are one and the same. Got anything to add? Watching my toddler go through the 5 stages of grief over his banana breaking in half. My son just asked me how I know his name. I'm not in the mood tonight. Parents on bus. A child gave my son his tablet in exchange for an Oreo cookie today on the bus. Please contact me for your tablet back. You know what's wild? Remembering that children hear things for the first time without context and are literally like, "What? I just said, 'See you later, alligator,' to a 4-year-old, and I think it's the first time they ever heard that. They froze in their tracks, looked at me completely bewildered, then replied, 'See you later, chicken,' and then kept walking. When I was a kid, there were no phones or tablets. We read cereal boxes at breakfast. My daughter told me she is the most talented swimmer out of everyone she knows because she can swim without moving her arms or legs at all. She is floating on her back. My son's latest attempt at hide and seek. Toddler. Dad, I want toast. Okay, buddy, here's some toast. I don't like butter on my toast. Flips toast over to the dry side and hands it back. There you go. Thanks, Dad. Toddlers are dumb. Take advantage of it while you can. When I was in pre-kindergarten, I thought that the class calendar was how we kept track of what day it was. I would get so worried on days where we didn't change it, thinking we'd lose track. One day, I decided to test my theory and snuck over to change some of the numbers around. I didn't see the teacher fix it, so there were a few years where I believed I messed up the world's date records permanently. Kids mispronouncing things is super adorable, but at some point I will have to tell my daughter that we don't put Farmer John cheese on spaghetti. I used to say fillet steak was Philip steak. I wouldn't let her play with a bag of dog poop. Kids are so stupid. I was a dumb kid. I was a very dumb kid. Still am dumb now, but I'm learning. My child told me he wanted to be a veterinarian tonight. I asked what made him want to do that, and he said, "I just think it's kind of gross that meat comes from animals, and I think it's really gross that when you squeeze an udder really hard, cheese comes out of it, and I can't eat it anymore." A veterinarian. I'm writing a condolence card. Gregory, 5, asks what I'm doing. I'm writing a note to say how sorry I am that my friend's mum's died, I say. He pauses for a very fraught moment and then asks, oh so tentatively, that's just to be kind, right? You're not the one who did it. When I was 12, I tried to cheat at poker by pulling some cards out of a nearby deck when nobody was looking. I grabbed 3 kings and put them in my hand, discreetly hiding the cards I was replaced. So then there I was, holding out my 5 cards, 3 with red backs, 2 with blue backs. 10-year-old son. Dad, the internet's off in my games room. Me? Oh yeah, I noticed that node disconnected earlier. Just power off and on the router for me. It's a little switch at the bottom of the white thing in your games room. 10-year-old son proceeds to flip master breaker on the house. He hard rebooted the house. Yeah, he has been warned not to touch the big red switch. He was even in the wrong room and had to climb up to the board to reach. Kids are stupid. My mom still brings this story up to me, never living it down. My mum ran a daycare out of our house when I was growing up. We usually had 3 to 4 extra kids around the house as well, as my older half-sister and I were already living there. My mum took all of us to the grocery store once. I must have been around 6 years old. We got to the checkout line and the cashier says, wow, a lot of kids. I look her in the eye and proudly exclaim, yep, and we all have different dads. In theory, I love my kids equally, but in practice, the smallest one filled my shoes with Fig Newtons and that's not cool. A fun holiday tradition at our house is me hovering over the day's Amazon deliveries with a sharp object in my hand, glaring at my kids and telling them to go away because until I open the box, I don't know if it's Christmas gifts or tampons. Yesterday morning after his soccer game, my 6-year-old asked me how come the other team gets to change the color of their jerseys every week, while we always had to wear purple. When I explained that, in fact, we were playing against different teams each week, his mind was blown. The other day, I watched a little boy get knocked to the ground by an older kid who was running by. He bursted into tears as his mother hurried over. Here's a band-aid for you, I said, producing one from my vest pocket. Oh, he's not bleeding, thank you though. I lowered my voice and leaned in. Kids think band-aids are health magic, I said. Ask him where it hurts and exploit that placebo effect. She did just that, and the kid instantly stopped crying and thanked her. I'll have to remember that, she said. Children,